Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaye Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Namah Pranavarthaye Shuddha Jnanaikamurtaye Nirmalaya Prashantaye Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Duramete viparite vishuchi
दूरमेते विपरीते विशुचि
avidyaya cha vidyeti jnata
अविद्या च
विद्याया च
विद्येति
विद्येति
ज्ञाता
ज्ञाता
vidyabhipsinam nachiketasam manye
विद्याभीप्सितं
विद्याभीप्सितं
नचिकेतसं
नचिकेतसं
मन्ये
मन्ये
natva kama bahavo lolupanta
नत्वा
नत्वा
कामा
कामा
बहवो
बहवो
लोलुपन्त
लोलुपन्त.
The first verse, he said, those who choose Shreyas, Shreyas Pranite, Sadhu Bhavati, Sham Bhavati, Mangalam Bhavati. And those who choose Prayas, Purushartha Hiyate, they fall away from Purushartha, Moksha Purushartha. They'll never get Moksha Purushartha. Their Prayas is a very different kind of thing, both in terms of the results you get and in terms of the types of in terms of the effort one makes. Praise is very different. Praise is all karma. Karma born of ignorance. Shreyas has nothing to do with karma. And yet karma is important. Karma is important for purposes of getting ready for that Shreyas Jnanam. You will find in all these Upanishads, and sometimes even people tell me, Swamiji, you're repeating yourself. I ask those people who come and ask me that you're repeating yourself, have you aparokshataya understood the jnanam? Now you cannot say I have understood. Because the moment I say I have understood, there's a problem. So one has to exhibit it. One not even exhibit it. One can see that a person is a jnani, is a brahmavit by the attitude that is expressed. So when you ask the person who says you're repeating yourself, so are you clear? Is your knowledge without any doubt? If it is clear, you don't have to listen to the repetition. Karatari also says, Punarukti na dosha. Because of this reason, there is no choice but to repeat it over and over and over again in different ways, in different words. We've seen this also, for example, Bashyam. You do karma for 100 years, living in this Jagat. Where does it get you? It doesn't get you very far. If you want to, because that karma will produce a binding. So you say the only way you can rid yourself of the bind is through jnana. And that is Shreyas. Therefore, again, and in fact, Shankaracharya uses this to buttress his argument, this particular verse, that you cannot gain moksha by karma, by prayers. Who does prayers? In fact, people who say, Swamiji, this is all repetitive. If a person has really understood, aparokshataya understood, what would you see in his life or her life? No ichcha-driven action or decision. Literally speaking, a sannyasi. Whether wearing kavi or not, sannyasi. Right? There are some commentaries on this verse and on the next verse where the question is asked, therefore should everybody become a sannyasi? And it's answered, yes, to the extent that everybody who wants moksha has to be at least a manasika sannyasi. A sannyasi who is not driven by any of the known kamas. All kamas, Shastra divides into three broad categories. Everything is included in that. Vittaishana, Aishana means desire. Vittaishana for wealth, including every kind of wealth. Putraishana, all kinds of kama. And Lokaishana, Artha, Kama, Dharma. Everything is divided. Now, if a person even shows an inclination to one or more of these, it indicates there is a doubt. Therefore, the person does have to repeatedly do Shravanam. Swami has a beautiful way of expressing this. As long as one has a non-binding desire, any number of non-binding desires, you're okay. What is a non-binding desire? A desire that does not drive a person to take a particular decision or a particular action. So desire by themselves are not a problem. It is when the desire becomes binding, when holds one, then where the problem is. So, he again repeats in this the same thing. In the first verse, he said, Shreya Adadhanasya Sadhu Bhavati. The one who chooses Shreyas, it results in Sadhu. Sadhu is a word that is used to indicate Shubham. On the other hand, Yau Preyo Vrinite, what happens? Artat Hiyate. And in this verse, he opens it up a little bit more. Because these two are so divergent, which is why Acharya uses it to indicate, to argue that there can be no combination of karma and jnana. Karma has a job. Allow it to do its job. How will you allow karma to do its job? By taking it as a karma yoga. We saw mumukshutvam, ishwaratvam, ishvara arpana buddhi, prasada buddhi, and all the effort one can make. All of these constitute that which is the makeup of karma yoga, and allow that karma yoga to act on one. But if one doesn't, one gets driven by kamya karma, more and more binding ropes around one. Once you started on this path, eventually you will get there. What it will do when he says, hiyate arthat, it only delay the whole process more and more and more. Because the artha is lost in the maze. Purushartha is lost. And therefore one is being called a mudaha or balaha. Because these two, yete, duram ete. What are they? Ya avidya vidyeti cha jnata. One is called avidya, other is called vidya. What is avidya? All of your previous efforts born out of avidya. Born because avidya pushes one to say, I can better myself. Avidya says, my situation is not satisfactory. You know, sometimes people will ask, Swamiji, you're saying that I should not have any wants. If I should not have any wants, how will there be progress in this world? The answer to that is very simple. Why do you want progress? What is that progress that you want? Oh, world has seen so much progress. From the time when we were living like barbarians, we now have the greatest challenges. We conquer space, we conquer the sea. Yeah, and what did we do in the process? Did you make a life better or worse? And if you already have everything, then where's the want? And the fact is that we have everything. We are making a mistake in recognizing this. Like the prince we saw who got lost in childhood and was begging on the streets, not knowing he's a prince. We are doing the same thing. If that knowledge is firm, if that knowledge is unshakable, then one won't care about any of the achievements in the world. Achievements come, sukha comes, great things come, let them come. They don't come, it's okay. a thinking which the so-called rational mind finds very difficult to digest. Because the rational mind misses the very point of Shreyas. These two, one called avidya, all the karma born because of avidya, and its phala, which we've seen is anitya, and the other called vidya. Ya vidya, avidya, vidye iti jnata. These two known as avidya and vidya, yete duram viparite vishuchi. They are far apart. One is here, going in different directions. There is no combination possible. And they are viparite. They are opposed to each other. Like light and darkness. And to remove ajnanam, all you have to do is get jnanam. To remove darkness, all one has to do is light a lamp. So they are duram viparite vishuchi. There are two things which are so not connected with each other. There is a connection. That connection only in the fact that if you're a karma yogi, you have the same objective. Otherwise, prayers has no objective. Prayers doesn't even know what the objective is. I want to make more money. I want to become famous. I want to do this. I want to do the other. But not thought right through. Okay, you got there, then what? Does that mean you can just push, disappear because you achieved what you wanted to achieve? I want to buy a big car or a house. Okay, you got the house, then what? No, I want a bigger house. Then I want a house with a swimming pool and a tennis court. No, I have a house this here in this place, but I want it in the more elite place. Where does it stop? These two are so divergent. Ete duram viparite vishuchi. And hey Nachiketa, Dharmaraja is addressing Nachiketa by name. Nachiketasam vidya bhipsinam manye. I can see, hey Nachiketa, that you are a seeker of this knowledge, vidya. Vidya vipsinam manye. Vidya vipsinam is vidyarthi, whose artha is vidya, vidyarthi. Nachiketa, I can see that because of all that happened in the first Valli. Because all of these prayers results that I offered you with no effort on a platter, you did not take. You stayed firm in your quest for knowledge. Tva bhavaha kamaha na alolupanta. Alolupanta is the lobha was not there. Lubh dhatu. And this is a, you can see a duplication of the la, alolupanta, showing intensity of the verb lubh. You showed no inclination. You did not let yourself be driven by lobha. Prayers did not drive you. Therefore, I consider Nachiketasa a Vidyarthi, a person who is a seeker of this knowledge. And so clear in his quest that is not diverted by anything else on the way. We generally get diverted because our senses tend to push us towards sense objects. Where senses are equated to horses on a chariot. If the senses are let loose and you're going in a particular direction, where will the senses take you? If they are horses, they will take you to where the grass is, away from where you want to go. These days, because in the cars we have this cruise control, no? I'm sure some of you have used the cruise control. You set a speed, press a button, it remains on that without change till you either touch the accelerator or the brake. Now it's gone one step better. Driverless cars. Because there is no horses to take you away, no senses to take you away. Senses are automatically attracted to sense objects. They will go where it takes them. And those where senses takes us towards sense object is prayers. It's not going to get us where we want to go. That's why you so categorically it says, whether you are looking at jnanam or you're looking at karma yoga, unless you know where you want to go, you can't get there. Alice in Wonderland, remember? Those of you who read that? Brer Rabbit says, when he's asked, which direction should I go? He says, where do you want to go? I don't know where I want to go. Then take any direction. How does it matter? You don't know where you want to go. If that mukshuttam is not clear, purushartha is not clear, there is no karma yoga, there is no jnanam. Take any path. Keep going round and round. Till the clarity comes. That's why parikshya lokan karmachitan nirvedamaya brahmana. Till you get to that state where you can say, look, this is not it. Till one gets absolutely clear that this is not it. Where I want to go is that absolute place, moksha. Till that clarity comes, it is random movements. All prayers is like Brownian movement. You know what Brownian movement is? Particles in a pot of water or anything, when heated, they keep going up all over the place. Called Brownian movement. And suddenly I remembered from college days, what is Brownian movement? Random movements, you don't know where you're going. Therefore, that clarity of purpose, that's why you find, for example, people who work very hard during their lifetime and then suddenly one day they retire and they don't know where to go. Every day they used to take their tiffin box and go to office, and do whatever is to be done in that day. Some purpose was there, short-term, random purpose. That purpose is removed, what do? Nowhere to go. I know one lady who used to ensure that after her husband retired, she would pack lunch for him and say, now go. Go wherever you want to go. Go sit in a park, but don't keep tripping over my legs. Let me do my work. Another lady who said something very nice about retirement. She said, as long as he was working, I had half of him and all of his salary. Now that he's retired, I get only half of his salary and all of him, which is a nuisance. No purpose. Unless one has definite purpose, direction is not there. So prayers is really purposeless movement. Do this, do that, the other. No, Swami, there is a purpose. I want to make sure that my children grow up well. A very good purpose. Anitya. Do that because you think it's a responsibility. But do it as karma yoga, not forgetting your real purpose. Not forgetting that your real purpose is moksha. This is all part of the small interim movements. If you don't have that, this becomes random movement. So, prayers and prayers, one has to understand the difference, understand what they say. Acharya expands it a little further. Let's read what Acharya has to say. Duram.
Duram.
Duram is Durena Mahata Antarena.
दूरेण महतान्तरेण
Huge difference. Mahata Antarena. Duram is not just too little distance. It's just completely different. Mahata Antarena. Not only Mahata Antarena, they are probably drifting further apart. Because the more one engages in prayers, karma, the more distant one is from real objective of prayers. So, Duram eti, Durena Mahata Antarena, ete. Ete is what? These two. Dual case. Shreyas and prayas. Viparite, they are opposed, they are divergent. How? Viparite,
विपरीते
Anyonya Vyavrita Rupe,
अन्योन्यव्यावृतरूपे
Viveka Avivekatmakatvat,
विवेक अविवेकात्मकत्वात्
Prakashau Iva.
प्रकाश इव
They are Viparite, they are opposed, they are divergent. How? Anyonya Vyavrita Rupe. Mutually exclusive. Anyonya Ashraya means mutually dependent. Anyonya Vyavrita Rupa is mutually exclusive. One has nothing to do with the other. One is all karma based on avidya. Other is just that jignasa. I want to know the truth. Because I have viveka. I know there is a difference. Atma, anatma viveka, nitya, anitya viveka. The one who can't see the difference will get stuck in the anitya only. So therefore he says, Anyonya Vyavrita Rupe and expands it further by saying, Viveka avivekatmakatvat. One is viveka, discriminative thinking. I know I want that moksha, which is nitya, while everything else is anitya. If I get, fine. If I don't get, no problem. But one has a rupa of viveka, discrimination, clarity. Other is aviveka. Interestingly, this anyonya vyavrita rupe, also we've been using this pranite quite often in this, no? To ask for, to choose. Comes the vru dhatu. This vyavrita also comes the same, vyavrita also comes from the same dhatu. V and ang purva vru dhatu. There are two different things to choose. They have nothing to do with one another. Because one is viveka, other is avivekatmaka. Like tamas and prakasha, light and darkness. This is an example we've seen many times. Where there is light, there cannot be darkness. So they are mutually exclusive. Where there is darkness, there can be no light. Where there is ajnanam, jnanam is missing. When jnanam arises, ajnanam disappears. Tama prakasha iva, like tamas and prakasha. They are mutually exclusive. Vishuchi,
Vishuchi,
Vishuchyau,
Vishuchau,
Nanagati,
Anagati,
Bhinna Pale, Samsara Moksha Hetutvena,
Vinnapale Samsara Moksha Hetutvena,
Etat
Etat,
Shuchi. There are two different paths, two different directions, two different ways. Nanagati. Vishuchi, he says, but Acharya correctly, Vishuchyau. Dvivachanam. Nanagati. The path is different for the two of them. One is karma, other is jnanam. Very different path. Karma has to be done and will produce a karma phala. Jnanam is already there. All knowledge already exists. We only have to uncover that knowledge. This we have seen. This knowledge of anything in this whole samsara is only covered. I don't know because that knowledge for me is covered. I can uncover it layer after layer after layer after layer. I don't have to do anything, do any karma. And that uncovering comes simply by learning, by jnanam. Therefore, I am a jignasu. So, nanagati. And that karma as a gati is the direction I want, therefore I do. Ajnanam leads to kama, leads to karma, which in turn leads to karma phala. One path. Jnanam already exists. The only effort I have to make is submit myself to the pramana. I just allow the pramana to act and reveal that. That karma, which is prayers, leads to a karma phala. Bhinna phale. It leads to a phala and varieties of phala. I work towards wealth, you get wealth. I work towards putra, you get putra. I work towards fame, you get fame. I work towards getting some achievement, I get that achievement. Some karma, I gain that karma or not gain that karma. Varieties of desires, varieties of actions, and varieties of results. But Shreyas, there is only one desireless desire, if you want. Moksha. There is nothing else. And moksha, like I said, is uncovering that jnanam. So, bhinna phale. What are the bhinna phala? One is samsara moksha hetutvena. One is samsara. Whatever you desire by prayers. I mean, look at what all he offered. Dhanam you desire. Okay, dhanam is samsara. I desire a nice palace, samsara. I desire long life, samsara. I desire to be the lord of all that land, samsara. I want to enjoy type of music, samsara. I want to go to Swargaloka, samsara. All of them samsara only. Whereas moksha is not going anywhere, doing anything. Moksha is simply unraveling the ignorance, revealing that knowledge of the self. Therefore, samsara moksha hetutvena. One is samsara, the other is moksha. Everything other than moksha is samsara. Everything other than moksha is binding. I'm a grahastha. What does that mean? That I have a graham and a grihani. Now, you have to think carefully. Yasya haste griham astiya, in whose hand there is a house, whose control there is house, or grihasya haste asti. You are caught in the griham. That griham binds you. You still have to pay EMI, mortgage. No, I paid all my mortgage, but it still binds you. It calls for repairs. And then when a fire takes place, part of the house is burned, it creates dukkha. Are you the owner of anything, or is that that one that binds you? That is samsara. That which binds one is samsara. I think I own this. I have control over it. You don't. Whatever that is has control over you. It is samsara. So, samsara is one. Samsara hetu. The karanam of samsara is prayers. More I do, more I work, more I do karma, more I try to gain something, more binding to samsara. Therefore, samsara hetu. Whereas Shreyas is moksha hetu. What are these? Kete,
Kete
Ityuchyate
yacha avidya Preyo
Yacha
Vishaya.
avidya.
Yacha avidya.
Preyo
विषया
Vishaya.
Preyo
विषया
Vishaya.
Vidyeti cha.
Vidyete cha.
विद्येति च
Preyo Vishaya.
Shreyo
यो
Vishaya.
विषया
Jnata.
Jnata.
ज्ञाता
Nirjnata. Avagata. Panditaihi.
Nirjnata
Nirjnata
ज्ञाता
avagata
अवगता
panditaihi.
पंडितैः
What are these? Kete. Yacha avidya. Avidya is Strilingam. Yacha avidya. Avidya is Preyo Vishaya. Because of avidya only, all of these arise. Avidya, like I said, leads to kama, kama leads to karma, karma leads to karma phala, and that is binding. That is samsara. And happens over and over and over again. So one is avidya preyo vishaya. And shreya vishaya is what? Vidya. Vidya iti. Preyo vishaya. Shreyo vishaya. This is known. Jnata. Who is the jnata? Panditaihi. Known by the knowledgeable people, discriminative people. Nirjnata avagata, it is known. Known by the jnani. One is avidya, other is vidya. Tatra
तत्र
vidya bhipsinam
Vidyabhipsinam.
विद्याभीषणम्
vidyarthinam
Vidyarthinam.
विद्यार्थिनम्
nachiketasam
Nachiketasam.
नचिकेतसम्
om aham manye.
Tvamaham
अहं
manye.
मन्ये
Point. Dharmaraja addresses Nachiketa by name. Aham manye. I accept. I think. What do you think? Having understood all this, Shreyas and Shreyas, Tatra Nachiketasam Tvam Aham Vidyarthinam Manye. I see you as a one who is a seeker of knowledge, who wants that knowledge, whose artha is Vidya. Vidya Vipsinam is Vidyarthinam, who has a Vidya Abhilasha, a desire for knowledge. Therefore, I want to reinforce, hey Nachiketa, that while you've rejected all this, you know what you're rejecting, you know that you're looking for that one knowledge, even if you're not absolutely clear what that knowledge is. Very nice. All of us start like that only. When we start, we know there is something to know, but if one is asked to define what that is, one is not very clear. Therefore, it says, I accept, I think that Nachiketasam Mam Aham Vidyarthinam Manye. Why do I say that? Because I've tested you. Before agreeing to give you that knowledge, I tested you. What did he do? Kasmat.
कस्मात्
How? Yasmat.
यस्मात्
Avidyavat Buddhi Pralobhinaha.
Avidyavat pralobhinah.
प्रलोभिनः
Kamaha.
कामाः
Apsara Prabhuttayaha.
अप्सरप्रभृतयः
Bahavaha Api.
वः अपि
Tvam.
त्वां
Na alolupanta.
न अलोलुपन्त
Right? How do you say that? Kasmat? Yasmat. This is how I tell you that I accept you as a one who is clear that what I want is knowledge. He'd asked for two other things earlier, which has nothing to do with knowledge, the samsara. But they had an option of 3 boons, so he could easily do that. You know, while I want moksha as my real thing that my objective is, in the process of trying to get the moksha, I need 2 other things. Look at this. One might go and pray to Ishvara saying, I want moksha jnanam, hey Bhagavan, hey Guru, I want moksha jnanam. But my mind is constantly disturbed. My children are not listening to me. They are going in the wrong direction. I am not able to correct them. My back is aching. So my attention is going there rather than to this jnanam. Therefore, hey Bhagavan, while I know very clearly moksha is my objective, it's my purushartha, please make the process comfortable. Please help me gain manashanti. How will I gain manashanti? Only if people around me are reasonably comfortable. If I think I have a responsibility for my daughter to get married, she is already 32. I am not able to find a match for her. Worries me. And because of the worry, I am not able to work on this. I have so many other things to do. Help me overcome them so that I never lose sight of moksha. That's why I said, as a karma yogi, one does a lot of karma. And every karma you do has an end. I want to do this because I want to gain this end result. But that end result is not my end result. My end result is moksha. I want to take this end result as something along the way. And if it doesn't come, prasada. Beautiful attitude to take. Then manashanti is automatic. And therefore, moksha becomes more and more of a possibility. So he says, Tasmat, Yasmat, Avidyavat Buddhi Pralobhinaha. Unlike the one who is the non-discriminatory person, the Mudaha, you did not let Lobha take you over. Avidyavat Buddhi Pralobhinaha Kamaha Apsara Prabhutibhi Prabhutayaha Bahavaha Api. How many things I offered you? So many temptations I put in your way. Twam na alolupanta. Did not make you a lobhi, a greedy person. See, I can see this gain immediately. Why not take that? You did not do that. Alolupanta. You did not go away from your set objective of gaining moksha. Na vichedam kritavantaha.
न
Vedam
विच्छेदन्तः
Kritavantah
Shreyo margat.
श्रेयो मार्गात्
Margat
Shreyo margat na vichedam kritavantaha. Sorry. You did not get torn away from the Shreya Marga. You did not get diverted into Priya Marga. Na vichedam kritavantaha. You did not go away from, tear away from, break away from, clear away from. Vichedam kritavantaha shreyo margat. Atma upabhoga abhivancha sampadanena
Atma
Atma
उपभोग अभिवाञ्छा सम्पादने
Sampadanena
atmopabhogabhivancha sampadanena. Generating in you that Ichha for Atmajnanam only, that did not get shaken. Therefore, I consider you a seeker of knowledge. Because of this, you did not get tempted by, you did not get diverted by, you did not let greed take you over. You know, in philosophically, we've always had this saying, live life, simple thinking, simple living, high thinking. That's been the philosophy. Don't complicate matters. The more you complicate matters, the more one is diverted from the necessarily high thinking. You know what has happened in India, and I think that largely has to do with invasions. In the north of the country, a lot of the invaders came and many things were destroyed, including temples, temple priests, the highly erudite people, Brahmanas, not in terms of the Brahmana Kula, but Brahmanas, knowledgeable people, were destroyed. It did not happen to that extent in the south. Therefore, till quite recently, even extremely rich people in the south tended to live a simple life. They did not, they had bhakti, they had respect for Veda. Many people have tried to resurrect it in the north as well, but it's not come out quite as well yet. You go to any temple in the south or in the east, you will find more strong commercial accent. The so-called pandas trying to extract money from the devotees. Happens less so in most southern temples. That's how the whole thing is evolved. But in time, we hope it will all come back when everybody in the country will have the same respect for Veda, the knowledge that is available there, and not reject it out of hand without ever having read what this is. It's typically what happens. People will come and tell you, I don't believe in all this. Okay, how much do you know about it to not believe? You don't know enough. And yet you make a judgment. Ataha
Ataha
Atah
vidyarthinam
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 Shreyo bhajanam
Shreyo
श्रेयो
Bhajanam
Bhajanam
भाजनम्
manye iti
Man
abhiprayah.
मन्ये
Manye iti
इत्यभिप्रायः
abhiprayah.
Therefore, in Nachiketa, I believe you are ready for this knowledge. You're ready for Shreyas. Shreyo bhajanam. You're deserving of this knowledge. Because you're a vidyarthi. whose artha, whose end purpose is vidya. Therefore, he is a jignasu. Even if he doesn't know those words, he may know those words, he may not know those words. He may not have absolute clarity about what moksha is, but is demonstrated to his guru, Yamadharmaraja, his strong commitment to share. In a world which is full of people who don't know and yet pretend to be leaders, who will tell you, come with me, I will tell you how to go. Next verse, it is also a verse in Kathopanishad, almost identical, except for one word change. Andhenaiva andyamana yathandaha. Blind leading the blind. I don't know. So figuratively, I'm a blind person. I don't know where to go. All of us are in the state. We know that there is something to know. We don't know who to ask. Whoever we ask is not able to satisfactorily give us an answer. And then somebody comes, says, I will show you. And that person also happens to be Andha. A beautiful verse, which we'll take up in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti
Shanti.
Harihi Om Shri Guru Namaha. Harihi Om.